You're fine.
Take your seats, please. There are plenty of seats up near the front. Just please, everybody, find a seat. There are a lot more seats up near the front, sort of facing in from the side toward the stage if you can't find one. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this amazing celebration of the life of Luke Massengill. We're so honored that you're all here. This is Yurik Hansen, and we are just stepping up here to welcome you. And as Luke's brother Kirk said, let's get this party started.
I don't know if my voice is coming from behind. Sorry. Where's an Anthony? And there's a Kirk. Anthony.
There they are.
Anthony.
All right, come and sit down, gentlemen. Come and join us. And we're gonna start the program with a song from Leta.
There's a picture that goes with this. Fuck. So this was in 2014, filming Avatara, and that was just a really special experience, and Luke gave me a lot of encouragement during that whole filming process. And I remember during this scene where my character was playing Amazing Grace and just feeling his presence there, I was kind of nervous during the filming. And as we all know, he had such a way of just bringing a calm and a warmth into the space. And I remember that, and I didn't realize there was a picture taken of that moment. So I just thought I would sing Amazing Grace for him. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Tis grace that leads me safe thus far, and grace will bring me home. Sing with me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you.
Oh, God, that was gorgeous. I haven't had time to cry all week, and I've been moving all this stuff, and now I can't keep it in. So. This is insane and crazy and super unexpected. Do I have to use a mic? Can you hear me? Fine. Hey, thanks, Leta. It's nice and tall. Do you want a mic too? You want to beatbox with me?
I'll share you.
We're supposed to do a life something.
Oh, thanks.
A life something. There's only one certainty we all know as humans, and that's that death is going to come for all of us. And this is a little sudden, especially with a being that I thought was going to live forever. Seriously, 99-year-old man on a food forest where he grew everything and had a little place for people to come practice theater and dance and do performances out in the middle of nowhere where you got to hike for 300 miles. You ready? But that's not all how it started. I met Luke as a 6th grader hanging out over at Russ Nahas's house because I knew his little sister and she was my friend. I didn't re-meet Luke till I was 16 in Grapes of Wrath. So that blip is all this gentleman and that gentleman, some other people, connections in the life story of Luke. Your turn.
Well, the thing, like, I look around here and I'm so moved because his life, everything that he was about connection. And I see all of these people and everything that you guys have done to, like, come here and remember him with us. We're lucky that we get to be able to feel this grief. We're lucky because we knew him and he was a part of us. So I love you all and thank you for being here. And there's St. Luke, by the way. He's got a joint and a cat, a cup of coffee, you know, right?
It's all about
Yeah.
the sleep man.
So
It's all a sleep man. Yeah.
everybody knows, you know, so who knew him? But I thank you for coming tonight, and this is a bit of a longer program than most other things that you might have attended that are similar to this. But first, we've got a video that we put together of a lot of his work.
But the video's at the end.
No,
Yeah, it's
did
bring
we
everybody
switch
together.
it up?
Yeah. There's been a lot of things that have gone on in this last week and a half.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, video's at the end. Huh? It's now. Okay, sorry. It's now. So this is exactly what the last 2 weeks have been like, you know. And Luke would have loved it, right? He would have loved it. So thank you very much for that. We're going to show you the video. We're going to have some speakers, and then at the end we're all going to have some remembrances. Those who don't get to speak will have an opportunity to tell a little story or a thought about how he might have impacted you, if you so desire. And then we'll mingle, have some food, have some wine. Thank you to Dave Crick of the Red Feather for donating these, like, 75 bottles of wine. It's unbelievable.
Did he make it?
Yeah. Dave? Where's Dave?
Is Dave here? Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I mean, it means a lot, right? Like when somebody like has been a part of your life for so long, and somebody is just like, yeah, of course I'm going to do this. Of course, like he was so giving. Of course I'm going to do that too. You know. So anyway, thank you. We'll show the video, and then we'll have speakers, and we'll talk soon.
And then we'll all wrestle.
Yeah.
and all these beautiful, beautiful actors that I get to work with, and that's been the best part, is just being in that room with all these brilliant people. They paid me to say that.
It's true. I paid her. My name's Luke, and I'm playing Macbeth in Witch Number 5. And my favorite part of rehearsal, I think actually it was every part of rehearsal. I think my only problem was that rehearsal wasn't long enough. Between the sword fights and the music and the interaction, and I got yelled at a lot today by Veronica, and that was really fun. I'm going to deep. I'll get deep back. My soul is too charged with blood of mine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword.
Now, Lucas Faber, I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair that charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Hi. Oh, pardon. Here, let me get some better light. Is that better? Hi, how's it going? I'm Luke. I like long walks on the beach. And, Tolstoy. And Beyonce. Or is it Beyonce?
I like Beyonce.
Or Beyonce. Oh, Beyonce. Beyonce happens to be... I listen to Beyonce. And for me, the hardest part this week has been pronunciation. No, it's actually been, I would say, specificity. It's taking all these big parts and then being really specific, not only in our movement, in our action, in our timing, but also in trying to find the specificity, particularly in the text. And what is it exactly that is being said and how that affects each individual person in the show. And it's been pretty exciting.
Hi.
When you have those shows, like at 7:45 in the morning in Emmett, that's one that always stands out in my mind because it's one of the first of the year. It's cold and it's bright in the morning, and 10 minutes into the show, you would have thought it was a Friday night and everyone had paid to be there. Because of the look on there, I mean, you can see the change, you can feel the change happen when you're just as surprised as they are surprised that they are enjoying Shakespeare and understanding it. And I'm sorry to all the farmers who are planning on their kids taking over their farms, and we perform. And I remember we were at Ledor, Idaho, tiny little town, home of the Tigers. It was like 4 towns came together, and there was a kid, and you could just see, I mean, the whole entire family's sitting there. And you can tell they're all related, and the youngest, I mean, overalls, everything, like almost stereotypical. And we were doing Midsummer Night's Dream there. And by the end of the show, the kids' eyes were shining lights. I'm just like, you went, oh my gosh, this is why we're doing this. Like, I grew up in a really small town where we didn't have things like this come through. And how much, more hope I might have had as a young child had I seen something like this. I did see the Harlem Globetrotters, though, and that was helpful. Very entertaining.
Next year, Shakespeare's.
It does, the Harlem Globe.
Action.
You're all right. You're okay.
You're gonna be all right. You're okay. You're okay.
Mark, please don't leave me.
Hey, you're all right. Don't talk so much. Just lay still.
I think I'm bleeding out.
No, you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get you taken care of. I won't let you down. You hear me? Not my brother.
Yeah.
You know I'd do anything for you. Hey, we're gonna give it to this guy. Shit. Yeah? Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we're just leaving. No, things are a little out of sorts out here. David's been shot. Terry shot him.
Mark.
No, I think he's gonna be fine.
Mark, I'm dying. What the hell are you doing? What, are you gonna shoot me, David? Come on, that'd be really funny for you, huh? Yeah? Piss off. What the hell are you trying to do?
You don't need to talk to them. Just drive.
Why are you holding a gun on me?
1.
No, don't count at me. Don't you count at me, David. I'm not
2.
I'm not moving this car with a gun in my face.
I'm gonna shoot.
You're not gonna shoot. I know, you're better than that.
It hurts so bad.
I know. But before we can start moving, I need you to tell me this is right. I need you to tell me that this is just about the money and has nothing to do with you hurting Terry's niece, all right? Just say that much.
I almost shot you.
Hey, don't worry about that. Look at me. You're bleeding to death, all right? I'd expect a little nonsense out of you. It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. Now just give me a shake or a nod. All right. All right. Now just stay put. Take it easy.
So, my name's Luke, but I'm playing a character named Mark here in this lovely short film we're doing called Distance. And as you can see, we're in between shots, so we're throwing rocks.
Throwing rocks is key, I think. You know,
This is
it's
David.
good character development.
That's right.
And Kirk, playing the character of David, brother of Mark. Fantastic.
And we're actually
ladies.
brothers. Isn't that funny?
That's key.
Scratch. What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
Alright. There we go.
Do we need to touch it up at all? Maybe have him lay down, thinking it up just a little right there.
That actually looks pretty good.
I would prefer it just that way.
What happened to you, sir?
I don't know. I got
It's all sticky.
I got really angry paper fight. Somebody cut the shit out of me. Oh my god. Never fight with
I
paper
untied
when
his
you're
belly
naked.
button. I didn't know.
I untied his belly button. I thought it was
Is that your Red Lobster right behind
oh
you?
my gosh. Where's my bib?
It actually tastes pretty good.
I didn't really taste it.
What's it taste like?
It's sweet. Like the essence of life.
Mark, I'm sorry. You got nothing to be sorry for. Stop. Stop the car. Why?
Mark, I'm sorry, please.
No, what the hell is it?
Please just stop the car.
What for?
Mark, please.
David, this is my head. Tell me you didn't lie to me. David!
Alright, now when I dip you,
When I
you cross left, and then you do a rock step. And then I want you to tendu to second position.
Okay.
You got that?
Ready.
In plie.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh shit.
Hold on, music! I think what you have is a Skittles leak.
We have to go back to 1611.
Dude! Sorry.
Skittles leak. That was fucking great.
That's where the magic happens.
This car.
That's right.
We need more of the same trims and everything. Yeah, like 4 big white ones.
Esatto. Non posso aspettare niente di più perché sono molto stanco e ho fame.
Focus is going to be a little different.
Voglio fumare una spinella.
Maybe he's still breathing.
God, no.
No. Let go of me.
Terry's dead, David.
You don't know that?
Yes, I do.
Let go of me.
We've been dragging him for miles. He's dead.
It's your fault. I didn't ask for this.
You lied to me.
I didn't want this.
What the hell do you want? I'm just trying to do what's right. I don't know what the hell you want. I'm just trying to stand up for you.
You don't have to stand up for me.
Yeah, I do. Or else who was going to? Nobody else is looking out for us. I'm your brother, for Christ's sake.
No, I'm gonna get out of this.
I was like, these guys need a flask or something.
Yeah. That one just made me funny.
Take two.
Eric, gin and soda. 2 limes.
As long as I don't have to muddle any more mint.
No more muddling, my friend.
Just drinking again.
Remember when we all used to be happy to be here?
Not really.
It'd be nice to be able to say one good thing about the summer.
Okay. The big burn. Didn't happen. Everybody said this would be the year.
I've been saying that for 10 years.
Yeah, well, one year they'll be right. Mother Nature will have her way with us in the end. Listen, I don't know if I'm coming back next year.
You say that every year.
Well, one year I'll be right.
Maybe I won't come back too.
I don't like to speak in certainties, but it certainly sounds like you're the victim of what we call apparitional hazing.
That sounds scary.
It's not good.
Oh.
Are we ready, Joey?
All set.
Now, Sarah, I want to warn you. My body may begin to feel strange. My palms may sweat. You may think a human cannot possibly sweat this much, but remember, a human can indeed sweat that much. No matter what, do not let go of my hands.
This is so exciting.
Jean, we're here with your granddaughter, Jean. She wants to make things right, Jean. Jean? Your ancient grudge has impacted Sarah greatly. Can you not see how she struggles to raise her daughter Cody after the only man in her life left her?
Oh, you were not kidding about the sweat.
You said we were going to do the magical Frosty movie, not the Dad Comes Back as a Snowman movie. Your dad sucks.
Hey! You say to my face, you little... Oh, yes, you... Screw you, you're not worth it.
I want to go home now, Timmy. We can try again tomorrow.
I can't just leave my dad out here all alone, Susie.
Yeah,
He needs me.
He's got a point, you know. You know what they always say? Snow dad's better than no dad. But anyway, beat it. Get lost. I don't want you here, kid. Right.
Susie!
And you come here and you give your old man a hug.
Dad, you're hurting me.
That's the point, Timmy.
Oh, no! This isn't the friendly Jack Frost. This is the bad Jack Frost. Timmy, that's not your dad.
Oh, it is my dad. He's just like this.
Here's Jetty. What are you doing now? No, that's my magical soup hat. No, I'm dying. It makes me up. No, no, no. No, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I don't want to go.
barcoder in the book. Okay, it looks like the door says, "What do you wish in the Emerald City?"
Nice work, new kid! Or, Dottie.
Ah, you're here. You're all finally here. Welcome to my Emerald City and my disbelievable domain. I've been watching your progress. Very impressive stuff.
Do we know you?
I expect so, as all who enter this domain know me.
Z! You're Z!
See, I'm very popular indeed.
Is it true you did a double backflip off the roof of the cafeteria?
Is it true you hacked the school's computer system to give everyone in calculus an A? Is it true you played a half-hour-long fart sound over the speakers at the homecoming game?
Yeah, we've heard all about you. We've followed your book.
We will be close friends then, won't we? I am the creator of this domain. Its denizens call me Z, the rad and powerful. But the spark, the inspiration that led me here was that very book in your hand. It used to belong to my grandfather. He would read it to me every single night, and I'd drift off to sleep, dreaming of new worlds. A couple of months ago, this lightning storm hits my house, and poof, the book disappears, transported into my domain. Never thought I'd see it again. Then you came along. I was once like you, lost, searching, yearning for something more than my mere high school life could offer me. So one stormy night, I started to create this world. With a flick of my wrist, there came the light. With a flutter of my fingers, there were rooms. With a crack of my knuckles, there came doors, and all the data knitting this world together. It's only the beginning. But I look out at the world I've created, and I think, yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Why is it a warehouse, though?
Oh, this is the pre-alpha phase, of course. Once my world is complete, its beauty and scope will rival the most fantastical landscapes you could ever possibly imagine.
We're gonna find each other at the fire, in the heart of the woods. I hope so. I'm hungry. For the first time in a long time, I'm hungry.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna finish the story. I get it now. You're the fox. Gibbons is the monkey, and that means the rabbit. Conejo. He'll bring me food too, but it'll be different this time. It's always different the third time in these stories. I'm hungry now, and I'll eat. And she'll be there, Chandni. I'll find her at the fire, and we can go home. We can all go home. Do you smell that? Smoke. It's that way.
Hey, Will. Wherever you are. Good luck, man.
Hello.
Hello again. That was amazing. Holy smokes. You and all the people who sent things, holy smokes. Holy smokes. I need a holy smoke is what I need. We have some people that are going to speak. And the first one on a list is Carissa.
Luke loved a good story. He loved telling them, he loved being a part of them, he loved telling them on stage and backstage, and so I think that he would love it if we came here today and told some of his stories. And I am so lucky, along with some of you here, that my story with him started at 13 years old, and some of us here remember little 13-year-old Luke. And I will never forget the first time that I saw him. I walked into the hallway at Lake Hazel Middle School, and there was Luke in a Cure t-shirt standing by the lockers, and he was surrounded by people. And he was hugging all these people, and I thought, who's this kid that just moved here? He's already got dozens of people that he's on hugging terms with. And in a matter of a few weeks, we had a class of huggers at Lake Hazel Middle School. He just had this way of connecting with people and bringing people together. And now that I'm a 50-year-old that works with a lot of young people, I look back at 13-year-old Luke and the emotional intelligence and the social intelligence that he had was absolutely incredible. And I know that it's that made our lives so special too. And I was immediately smitten with him, as everybody else was. And I'll have to confess that I stayed on the track team a little bit longer than I probably would have, because I hated running around in circles. But Luke was on the track team, and those moments between when we ran our last laps and our parents picked us up after school were some of the most most cherished and really fun moments that I had during that time. And all of you who got to work in the theater with him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He was a serious track runner, and a lot of you might not know, he was the second or third fastest track runner at Lake Hazel Middle School. Something that a lot of people didn't know, because that was just him. He was so humble. He didn't brag. I had to hear about all of his accomplishments later in life from other people. And so Luke was my classmate, he became my teammate, and he became a dear friend. And years later, he blew back through Boise, and you know how he would do that. He was sort of in and out of here. And on one trip with Corey Arnold, they blew through Boise, and they were going to this magical place up north. And Luke had never been there, but his description of this place made me say, I think I know how to make my fortune and fame now. Luke was always full of a really good idea and dreams, and he had faith in possibilities, and it was absolutely enchanting and addictive and mesmerizing. And I thought, I'm going to go to Alaska too. So 2 weeks later, our friend Julie Garcia and I were on the Alcan in a Subaru heading to Alaska, sight unknown. We didn't have the internet back then. We didn't know really what we were getting into. We just knew that Luke and Corey were somewhere up there. And so a week or so later, we're going into the unemployment office, and he's coming out of it. And then the next day, he joined us at our camp out. And to say the least, we didn't really make our fortune and fame in the fishing industry. But we certainly went a lot of places because of that. And I'll never forget one of the days that we had up there shortly after we arrived. It was the summer solstice in 1995, and we were sitting on Bishop's Beach, and we were just having one of those conversations, and all of you know what those conversations were like. Luke could not have a shallow conversation. I mean, if you were going to talk about the weather, it was going to be deep and scientific and related to some sort of human condition. And then you could talk about the weather, but we were having one of those talks, and we were 19 years old, and we were talking about the world and life and where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. And we agreed that we would never get on the treadmill. We would never join that rat race. We would never chase money just for the sake of chasing a dollar, that we would be true to ourselves and we would follow our dreams. And he was going to become an actor. And at that moment I thought, I want to see where this guy's story goes, and I'm going to stick around with him as long as I possibly can. And I'm glad I did, because we got ourselves into a lot of interesting situations after that. We found ourselves in New York City a few months later, and I should actually not skip ahead too much, because how we got into New York City is one day he was in Homer, Alaska, working at a coffee shop, and this couple from New York City came into the coffee shop, and they were talking about how they really didn't want to make the long drive back to Alaska. So Luke ended up with an offer to drive their car back to Alaska. And he came to me to tell me that this couple he just met at this coffee shop in Alaska are giving them their car? And then I was like, yeah, of course Luke ended up with a stranger's car after a shift at the coffee house. And we finally ended up in Alaska, in New York City, and I don't think this couple knew that their car would first go to Idaho and then to California, and then to an impound station in Louisiana, and then finally to New York City. And I was with him to help get the car out of impound, and the plan was for us to make our way in New York City for a while. So we looked around for jobs and tried to figure out how we could make our way there. After 3 weeks, we couldn't even get a dishwashing job. And that's when I called my parents, and I was like, we didn't quite make it in New York City. So they rescued us with some bus ticket money, and Luke's family rescued us with a place to land and a place to stay until we could figure out our next steps. So after we get the bus ticket, we have $13 and some change left, and we turn around, and there's this guy in the bus station that's like, hi, where do you need to go? Where are you heading? And let me see your ticket. Oh, I know where that bus is parked. And so he shows us around. I feel like we're getting like the 5-star treatment at this bus station in New York City, and I'm thinking, wow, these New Yorkers are so nice. And then he takes us to our bus, and then he looks at Luke, and he's like, are you going to tip? And so Luke reaches into his pocket, and he takes out the $13 in change. And that was all the money we had at the bus station in New York City. And he doesn't just give this man $1 or $2, he gives him the entire $13 in change. And so those of you who know Luke, he would give his last dime to an absolute stranger. And he would do absolutely anything for a friend. So I'm getting on the bus and I'm calculating how many calories I'm going to need between New York City and California. And Luke is getting on the bus and he's just making friends with everyone he's passing. By the time we get to Pennsylvania, he was best friends with everyone on the back of the bus and then towards the middle of the bus. And I'm starting to get a little hangry, but Luke is getting to know all these folks, and he not only knows where they're going and where they're from, but he knows their hopes and their dreams. And this was a really good thing, because by the time we got to Ohio, I was pretty hungry, but one of his new friends had just broke his Walkman and needed a new one, and Luke had one. So he bought the Walkman from Luke for $20. So we ended up with more money on the bus than what we started when we started out on the bus. And that was the first moment that I was like, yeah, maybe I should just not worry as much and do what Luke would do. And we ended up in California, and that's where I met the Massengill clan for the first time all at once. And I'll never forget it because we had a long journey across the country, and I was really hungry, and they were making French toast and sausage. And I walked in, and I just felt this warmth and this acceptance and this generosity from the Massengills. And that's where I knew where Luke got it from. And his family really embraced me like I was one of their own. And I'll never forget that. And that warmth and that generosity of spirit was something that made all of us attracted to him and made us all so lucky to be a part of his life. And it's something that never wavered with him throughout his life. I remember about 7 years ago to this day, my dog was dying, and it was late at night, and I thought that I would have to let her go that night. And so I called somebody who was really important in my life at that time, and I told him what was going on, and he said, I'm tired and I need to get up in the morning. And this guy was totally unemployed, by the way. And so I hung up the phone, and right when I was thinking, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Who should I call? It's really late at night. I know I'm gonna be waking somebody up. My phone rings, and it's Luke. And he had heard that Daisy, who he had taken camping and gone on so many walks with, was about to meet her sunset. And so he said, what can I do? Can I come over? And he had just worked a double shift, and it was late, and he was about to work a double shift the next day. But he came over to my house, and he stayed up with me late into the night. And we talked about all of those really important things and many things that have been helping me through these last few days. He had an absolute faith in the endurance and infinity of our spirit, and I've been feeling that with him, over the last few days, and I hope that you have all too. And I'll never forget that day, and what I'll mostly never forget has been our last days together. He was always chasing something. He made the ordinary extraordinary. So if we had to go on a dog walk, it wasn't a dog walk. It was a quest to find some snow at the end of the season if there wasn't much left, or it was a quest to go see some flowers bloom somewhere. He always made what was really the mundane really something special. And those are some of the things that I'll miss the most about him, and his ability to turn morning coffee into afternoon coffee with long conversations in between. And one of the last things that he did for me is he helped me install a light fixture above my foyer with the help of Kirk, thank you. And I think it's so fitting that he left me some light, and that's really what he was in my life, was light. And he had an incredible way of inspiring, and a lot of you know that. And I have to share a conversation that I had with our friend Julie, who we went up to Alaska with. She said, Luke really inspired us to just kind of let go and to experiment and see what's out there, and to just see what was waiting for us and dive into life and bite it off whole. And she said that really inspired me to have the confidence to go forward and travel around the world and try different things and do different things. And she's living in Spain now. And after we went to Alaska, I told my brother and our friend Carissa about Alaska, and they went up. And then they told their friends, Merlene and Corey, about Alaska, and they went up. And there were unions that were made and babies that were born. But he had this way of having a domino effect and inspiring. And I've been thinking a lot over the last few days what I could do to honor him and to remember him. And I'm thinking a lot about, what would Luke do? And I'm definitely going to be thinking that a lot in the days to come. But I think that we could do a lot to honor him too by biting life off whole and living it and seeing what it has to offer us, and to do what he aimed to do as a 19-year-old young man sitting on the beach in Alaska, and that was chase his dreams and to become an actor. And so I'm going to be thinking of him a lot, and sometimes I think that he nudges me a little bit already. The other day I just wanted to stay in bed and not face the world, and then all of a sudden I hear this Secure song in my head, loud and clear, and I hear the lyrics, "If you do that, you'll be missing the world." And I really do believe that he wouldn't want us to sit with our grief too long, because we would be missing the world. So I'm so grateful that Luke gave me stories, and what we could do to honor him is to tell his story and to continue to let him be a part of our story. I know that he's always going to be a part of my story deep inside of me. And I hope that we could all help each other through this by sharing the stories that we have of him. And thank you, Luke, for all your stories.
Hello. My name is John Peñate. I've known Quinn since high school, Vista High. I was in 10th, he was in 9th, 11th, 10th, 1 year older. And our friend Corey is going to touch on a story where basically this kid from another state was walking around in jorts. And, new kid, how are you going to get attention and get everybody to talk to you? And basically, he became the life of the school. He just, like everybody knows here, you met him, he inspired you right away. You fell in love with him right away. And one of the reasons I'm probably up here isn't necessarily just high school. Him and I lived in Italy together, in Rome. And that was a freak accident on its own. Once again, before the internet, before Facebook, before texting, before any of that. I was 1 year older, so I graduated. They were in high school for obviously another year. I heard about Corey and Quinn going out to Alaska. I heard this. I heard he was in Italy. Then, when I was 25, I decided, because the friends I was hanging out with had been backpacking and basically doing the whole Europe thing, so I got inspired to go. But I had heard that Quinn was in Italy, but I had heard he'd come back because his mother got sick. And so I wasn't expecting, of course, not expecting him over there. I end up traveling. I end up in Rome. I decide, Rome, I need to stay here. I need to live here. So I got a job at a hostel, night job. So 6 in the morning, I get off to work. Then I would go to sleep. Then I would wake up, eat, and repeat. And then I said, this is not why I'm in Rome. I'm here because of the Colosseum here, the Forum. I need to see things. I need to do things. So the first decision I made was, there was an English play, a comedy, in the Roman Forum for free. I'm like, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go check this out. So I'm sitting on the steps of the church reading my book, waiting for this performance to start. And that voice, that fucking voice that everybody knows from a mile away, is just coming towards me, not saying anything to me, just talking history. Quinn was a tour guide, and here he is coming towards me with a group of people. And of course, recognizing his voice, I look over and I just can't believe it. So I run over to him and I stand right in front of the group, and I literally just... And of course he goes, John! And, you know, right in front of this group of people, 15, 20 people, we start just connecting, like, what are you doing here, this and that. But before he even does that, he goes, I was just talking about you to her. I was just talking about to her. She's from Fallbrook. And we say, what? And yes, we, that was 2001, 2002, the summer. He asked me to be his roommate for the summer with a British girl. And that was apparently his best friend in Rome. He's like, you're going to love her. And we all know Quinn is the connector. Like, he loved you enough. I mean, he met you for 5 minutes. He became part of you for your whole life. But if he stayed in your life, like all of you, then he found a way to connect you with other people that he knew you would love. Because if you got along with him that way, it was obvious you were going to get along as well. So he says, you're going to love her. We were roommates for the summer. Her and Quinn found another apartment later together. I stayed in the apartment. But that girl, Julia, to this day is like a sister to me. I've seen her kids be born. And I saw her get married. Like, she's that person for me. Just like, although Quinn wasn't always in my life, he was a constant. And everybody in Rome feels the same way. When I was speaking to people about what happened, and when, you know, they talk to me, they say he was the connector. He was, in Rome, they actually have a different word for him. He was the glue. That's what they consider him, the glue. Because everyone that ended up loving each other in Rome had that connection with him up until he got deported. And that's Corey Arnold's fault. That's Corey Arnold's fault. You see, obviously, we're in Rome. I know Corey. He's some super big guy, a photographer in Norway. He's getting an award that no other foreigner had ever gotten, and Quinn, of course, has to be there. But he wasn't living with papers in Italy. You can't just fly anywhere you want, and he knew this, but he figured it out. Like, he went there, and he went to go. I was going to go. I didn't have papers to live in Italy either. But I was like, you know what? I can't afford it. I'm not going to do it. He offered to pay for me, and I said no. And on the way back from Norway to Rome, on his layover, he gets caught in Belgium, I think. Oh, no, Denmark it was. And basically they deport him right away back to the U.S. And throughout all those years, he couldn't. 6 years you're deported. When you're deported, you can't visit Europe for 6 years. So he was counting the years. He was counting the months. When he finally could come back and visit, he came and he stayed in my apartment with Sarah, for those of you that know her. And that's when I found out about YouTube. Oh, you don't know about YouTube? Oh, this is great. You can do all these things with, YouTube. It's going to be the next big thing. I didn't believe him. Of course I should have. Anyway, it wouldn't be right for me to... by the way, yes, I was in theater with him. We were in Old Town together in high school. In Rome, he wanted to produce Picasso. He wanted to do Picasso to Massengill by Steve Martin. I wanted to audition for it. He said, no. I want you to direct it. So he inspired me to direct. And I did direct him at the Picasso de la Panagile. He was Picasso. He was perfect in it. We have footage of it. Didn't get to it on time for the video. If anybody wants to see me later, I have it on my phone. If you can see him performing in Rome. But besides that, I wouldn't feel right sharing this time I have representing Europe, Italy, if I didn't share it with other people that he involved. And before I got to Rome, he was one of 3 guys that were always the crew. Him, Jed, and Nate. Jed, unfortunately, is not with us anymore. A long time ago, he also passed. Nate did record a video for us. He now lives in New Zealand. And of course, Julia sent me a video message along with something else. So here's Julia.
Luke Massengill was one of the biggest influences on my young life. And in the beginning of my time here, he led me through my guiding skills and taught me the way forward. He was funny, he was charming. At the time we were doing tours in Rome. I'm now a tour guide at the Vatican and work for the Vatican Museum Direction. But back then we were just doing promo tours out front at the Basilica of St. Peter. And your job was to show a group of people on a free tour around the church and give them the best and most amusing, entertaining, informative time you could in 20 minutes so that they would really want to go on another tour with you. And Luke was amazing at it. He could convince the most disinterested human being on the face of the earth that what he was talking about was the bee's knees and was something they wanted. And my goodness, people bought tours from Luke like you wouldn't believe. Our group of friends, all based in tour guiding, at the time we used to sit around and drink wine and talk about things like the movie Gladiator and how ridiculous it was in comparison with the truth about gladiators in the Colosseum. And we would talk history and we would enjoy each other's company. And just, he was the glue that introduced so many people that still know each other and love each other to this day. He influenced my life as a young tour guide in many different ways. He introduced me to someone who would become my best friend, almost brother, through the next 20 years in Rome. And I know I'm not the only one he did that for. Luke was absolutely the most fantastic human being. And I'm so desperately sorry that we won't have any chance to meet again. I always thought there'd be another moment that we would see each other. But unfortunately, the last time I spoke to Luke was in 2020 when we had a catch-up. And he followed one of my virtual tours, which I was so happy about. I was so happy about the idea of this person who was such an influence on me. 20 years later, seeing that I still love and still do the thing that we met through.
For the present, I know not where to begin, overwhelmed as I am by so many things, and by the greatness of my own astonishment. In truth, Rome was greater, and greater are her ruins than I had ever imagined. I no longer wonder that the whole world was conquered by this city, but that I was conquered so late. Luke's favorite monument in Rome, the Pantheon. And there it is from the Janiculum Hill, just above Trastevere, where we live together.
Luke, my brother, when I think of you, when I think of our time together, and it's become clear in the past couple of days, listening to others, is what my time with you meant to me was coming of age. It was sort of becoming a child to becoming the first stages of adulthood. And that's become clear from everybody. Like we started to do it. We were in Rome. We were earning enough money to pay for our dinners and have fun, take trips together. But really that's what it was. Like it was not a long period of time, 2 years, 3 years, but it was like I often talk about it as the most influential point in my life. Like a milestone or a life journey, a coming of age. I can't tell you how much influence you had in my life in that step in it. And I know everybody or most people, Jed from Rome, all feel the same. So, miss you, Luke. Love you.
And I'll end with this. Rome couldn't handle him. Maybe that's why he had to be sent back. And if he'd never been sent back, a lot of these people probably wouldn't have met him. Everything happens for a reason. And I do feel like I ended up getting my visa, my papers still live there. He took me for the first time wine tasting in Tuscany and that basically inspired me to get ideas in I'm a DJ. I was DJing full time back then. He even, after the pandemic, had idea for, because I do theater with him. I've done theater with him. He had a vision of like a play that he wanted to do with a DJ, and he wanted me to be the DJ in it, and all these things, right? He always had ideas. But in Rome, because of him, I ended up becoming a tour guide as well. And because of our time in Tuscany, that one time together, I ended up becoming a sommelier and doing wine tours throughout Italy. I mean, that guy, he inspired everybody he touched. And when it comes down to, the saying, you have no dollars, I have $10, we have $10. That was him. And in Rome, I don't think he's ever had so much money like he did in Rome. But he would treat people to meals. He would take people out. He would do and travel with people. Sometimes he even offered to pay for me to go see Corey. So he loved Rome so much. And as you all know, he loved it to the point where he kept it with him even after he left, taking those moments to speak Italian when he could. But that's because he even went to school to learn Latin while in Rome. That's how deep he would get into it. It was never cookie cutter. If he was going to do it, he was going to do it right. And that's what I appreciate about him, because his inspiration will live on even after he's gone. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Dakota. Here's a picture of Luke and I from the Rocky Horror Picture Show in our underpants. I'll be pretty speedy, or else I'll cry for the rest of my life. So I want to begin by thanking everyone who came today to love and to mourn and to feel and to celebrate, and to thank everyone who couldn't be here, and those of us who are feeling this loss in California and in Wyoming and Oregon and in Rome and everywhere else that was lucky enough to have and know Luke. I'm going to go off my script because actor bullshit. So anyway, I met Luke in the upstairs loft of Boise Contemporary Theater in January of 2010 and was immediately intimidated. It was the first day of rehearsal for a school outreach tour of Othello through ISF, and my second day in Idaho. I could never have predicted that meeting my Iago would be the beginning of a 15-year friendship that would change the course of my life. All I knew then was that this charming, leather-jacketed genius radiated a warmth that made the entire room feel safe and welcomed. Later, I discovered that he also knew where to find the best espresso in Boise, the cheapest vintage Deans downtown, and the best chicken fried steak in the state, which in 2010 would have been Dawson Taylor, Lux, and the Country Boy Cafe in Athol, Idaho. That night, over cheap drinks at the Basque Center, I'd learned that not only was this guy one of the most charming dudes I've ever met, but also one of the most deeply intellectual and compassionate people I'd ever have the privilege to know. We discussed his time in Italy, giving sometimes licensed tours of the Vatican, where he'd always make sure to sneak in a few Jesus jokes on Easter. The one he told me was, oh yeah, old whistle palms. Anyway. We talked about the tour he performed in the previous year, rocking the stage as Puck in a Basquiat-inspired version of A Midsummer Night's Dream, how he had recently lost his mom and how getting to perform Shakespeare for students across the state helped him process his grief. I learned that we were both football kids who joined the theater once our teammates all hit puberty and got larger and faster than us. How in high school he capitalized on his last name and gave out douche-shaped juice boxes as part of his campaign for student body president. These would be the first of 1,000 Luke stories, which we all have, which he shared with generosity and humor. They always ended in a great punchline that would usually that would result in peals of laughter while he would absentmindedly pocket the lighter that he just borrowed. To quote his favorite sick movie, Casablanca, he is just like any other man, only more so. Over the course of the next decade and a half, we would live together, party together, enjoy art together, and log thousands of miles touring the state in a Penske moving truck, and share so many stages, from performing in Voices from the Boise Hole, if you remember the Boise Hole, Adam Harrell's The Basement Company, to an embarrassing corporate pancake breakfast where we improvised an Othello scene as Irish Transformers for some reason. $50 is $50. To watch Luke perform was to watch the component parts of his humanity all play together in symphony. He was one of those people that made you feel more yourself by virtue of him being himself. His curiosity and openness inspired you to settle into the present, to be here and now and fully alive. He could take the piss out of you like an older brother, giving you the freedom to laugh at the absurdity of life and of yourself and of the whole chaotic universe. Yet he was smart enough never to make you feel stupid, and confident enough to lend you some of his own when you felt less than. Qualities which made him a once-in-a-lifetime teacher. Whether you were his student or not, you couldn't help but learn something from him. He had a voracious intellect and would share his passion with whatever he was interested in. He was the coolest dork I'd ever met in my life. He could quote Star Wars: A New Hope from beginning to end. He could speak Italian and French and Shakespeare, and he could school you in the history of this and many other countries, and he could fix cars and talk sports and outsmoke anybody but the absolute snoopest of dogs. His mind was a museum, and his heart was a Caravaggio painting. And when he looked at you over his glasses, you knew he was about to get real with you. When he walked on stage, you instinctively leaned forward. When he hugged you, you knew he meant it. No singular story can possibly capture the magic that is Luke. We could all share memories until the end of time and barely scratch the surface, but that's the kind of person he is. I could tell you about the time we spent sharing a house on 17th and Idaho, playing cards and listening to Charles Bradley vinyls because we had no TV. I could tell you how he broke his finger in the penultimate scene of Macbeth and still performed a 5-minute fight scene with me afterwards. How he asked me, as a fellow former football player, whether he should tough it out or whether we should go to primary health. How he wanted to perform the next show and only relented once the whole cast convinced him that his body was in shock. I could tell you how he accidentally poured a glass of red wine on somebody at Bitter Creek and how his first instinct was to take a full beer and dump it on his own head to completely obliterate the tension with humor. How he discovered Minecraft during his cancer recovery and would invite me to share a couch and a screen while he showed me everything he built in this silly game that we were taking very, very, very seriously. I could tell you how much he loves his family, how he wanted to write a one-man show called My Father, She, how much he was in awe of his brother Kirk, and how often he would tell me the story of how Kirk would crouch silent and still until he was surrounded by deer before leaping into the air and sprinting with the herd. How we learned to dance together in high heels and underpants for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I could tell you how deeply he loves animals and how much they love him. How he consoled me through so many turbulent moments where my life felt like it was falling apart, and how I could lean on him for anything. How he inspired me to pick up knitting and thrifting and camping and teaching and collecting records, and how he taught me to prepare a proper espresso. How one Christmas, when all of our friends went out of town and the two of us were living at the Copper Top, 17th in Idaho, we decided to go full Jewish celebration and get an assload of Chinese food and spend the day marathoning Harry Potter movies and getting stoned. How he taught me how to rock hound, how to identify seam agates and fire opal and petrified wood and how they were geologically formed. How he believed in me when I simply couldn't. How hard it was being like the only Cure fan in Cheyenne. He taught me how to pack a theater set into a moving truck and how to properly strap it down for travel, how to really care about what you care about and love what you love and be who you are, how there are no contradictions in a person that lives so large and honest, how to love and enjoy the adventure of being on this earth. When I think of Luke, I can still smell Fahrenheit cologne. I can still hear him saying, "Between your growling and his blasting everything in sight, it's a wonder the whole station doesn't know we're here," with Mark Hamill's characteristic voice crack. I could still hear him calling me Dekitor in our made-up Scandinavian dialect that we called Sven. He's here now, existing in all of us, and he's going to be with us for the rest of our days. Knowing Luke was a privilege, calling him a friend was an honor, and being changed by him was an inevitability. To quote his favorite play, I imagine he'd give me shit if I didn't. There is a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man of aught he leaves knows, what is it to leave betimes? Let be. I love you, Luke. We love you. Thank you for everything.
Well, boy, oh boy, I don't know how to follow any of that up. And so I just started jotting things down. Thank you, Dakota. And he stole every lighter that I ever owned. And Carissa, he called me when you guys were traveling across the country, begging me to Western Union you guys money when you only had $13 to your name. Luke was my mom's favorite of all my friends. For whatever reason, they were all a little bit better than Luke, but for whatever reason, he just pulled the wool over her eyes. So, he was like the devil and the angel on both shoulders at once for me. Russ tugging me this way, let's do this. Well, at the same time, let's steal all the booze from your folks' liquor cabinet. and so he didn't want them to notice that we were, taking a little too much of any one thing, and so he gave it a name. He called it Black Sticky Stuff. He would take just a little bit from each bottle and combine it all, and we'd make our way up to the room, and, well, it was great. So I didn't like football. I was a soccer player, but Luke liked football, and because he was someone I fell instantly in love with when I met him, I was playing football too. And then where's Sean at? Did you ever see the Right Said Fred down in Vista? Okay, so he did this. Do you guys remember that I'm too sexy for my love? Okay, so he had this. Those guys is amazing too. Yes, and so we replicated that at Centennial High School. Only we got in trouble for it because there was this move where we would hump the floor, and so when we were in auditions, the faculty said, well, you guys can do that, but you're going to be thrown out if you do the hump the floor, move. And in honor of Luke, we still did it anyway. We won first place, but we didn't get any money. I don't know, and he was a brother to me. He was just a fantastic human being to have known, and all that he did, I admired. I can't say enough about the man. He really stole my heart, and I don't have a whole ton, you guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here. The only one we're missing is him, of course, and we should all do a better job moving forward, and in each and every one of us staying in touch. I've got this kind of little routine that I do with a number of my friends where every week we promise a phone call, and I only have like 8 or 9 people that are in this group, but make sure you take the time to do that. Make sure that you take the time to give and to share, even if it's 5 minutes. Screw the text message. Just get right down to it and pick it up and let each other know that you love one another, because that's what it's really all about. So thank you, guys.
Hi, my name is Shelley Oneida. A lot of you probably, if you remember me as a brunette named Sarah. I spent my entire childhood as a part of theater. And that meant that I was often essentially attached to shows that I was not necessarily in. And one of those shows was Hamlet, run through the New Heritage Theater Company. Now, there obviously is no place for a 13-year-old in that show, and so I started working at the prop table. I was one of the people that made sure that that ran. Well, Luke was in that show. That was actually where I met him. He was playing one half of the Rosenstern-Gildenkrantz pair, and he was endlessly charming and so wonderful, and he annoyed the ever-loving shit out of me because he would follow me around and sing at me. Now, you have to understand, when I was 13, I was a kid who was bullied a lot, had a lot of issues, also undiagnosed autistic, so lots of issues happening. And so I did not understand jokes very well, and I did not understand the sort of joy factor that Luke had in razzing the crud out of you. And so at one point he was doing so and following me around to the prop table, and I broke the cardinal sin of any theater thing ever. I actually broke two of them simultaneously. One, I picked up a thing off the prop table that was not mine. It was a sword. And I threatened a grown man with a piece of live steel. Obviously, that wasn't a good thing to do. Luke could have gotten me in a lot of trouble. Instead, his response was essentially, okay, we can deal with this later, and he left. And I didn't know what to do, because I'm standing there holding a sword like, and keep in mind, this was a full broadsword because it was not one of the ones we were actually using for any of the fights, so it was an actual sword. Thank you, younger me. And eventually, I put the sword away, put the sword back on the table, and was very, very confused. The next time I saw him, he explained that he was joking with me. He didn't make me feel stupid about not getting the joke. He just explained that he was playing. He was singing and teasing, and that was part of his love language. And so it went from being something where I felt very hurt and very teased to having a very wonderful memory of Luke following me around singing Modest Mouse's You're the Good Things at the most obnoxious register you possibly could, right behind me. Now, I am now 35, which is going to make several people in this audience feel incredibly old, and I'm sorry. But I went from being 13 and just having met Luke and being a teenager to being a co-star in multiple productions and working with him as a producer and as a behind-the-scenes team. And the thing that was really an amazing thing about Luke is he knew me when I was 13 and obnoxious and definitely had a crush on him, and I'm pretty sure he knew it. And he knew that version of me and still treated me as an adult when I was in my 20s and didn't treat me like a kid. He treated me like a grown-up who had the exact same reason to be there as him. I got the absolute wonderful joy of working with Luke on a run of the response program, on one of the things you actually saw, the one with the sweaty palms. that was a program called And Beyond, and was the last thing I did before I moved down to California. That was amazing, by the way, and had some of the funniest comedic acting I've ever seen in my life. He was amazing. But probably the longest time I spent with him was on Avatara, which was a film that we started in 2014. And he and I both worked on the back end of it for a very long time. And one of the things that he did was he was one of the sound designers. And so he actually picked some of the songs that were going into the film and where they went. And one of those songs is actually the one that I'm going to do today. So basically, there are very few people in my life that I think had a bigger effect on me as I grew up, and on me as an actor, and on me as a person. And it is insane to me that he is not here. And I don't really know how to deal with that, and I don't think any of us do at this point. I think it's a really, really hard thing, and so we'll see how I do getting through this. Okay.
Walking and talking like children in our sleep, standing at the precipice
everybody. I'm Heather B. This is an unscheduled announcement. These stories are wonderful, and it's so cool to hear all the perspectives from different parts of Luke, like little facets in a jewel, which he was. For the next speakers, I'm just going to ask to keep it to just a few minutes per speech because people are probably starving. We have lots of food and wine, and we'd love everyone to stick around. I don't want to diminish what you have to say, but just really be mindful of the time. Okay.
That was my sister always telling me what to do. So. Yeah, it's true. So, because I'm old, I had to put this in dark mode, you know? But I kept trying to decide where to begin this, and eventually realized that hesitation itself was the wrong instinct. Luke never waited for clean beginnings. He showed up, and somehow that was enough. He was there, not in a loud way, not as a performance. He was there in the room, in the conversation, leaning back slightly, already aware where things might go and curious to see if you were going to follow the thought all the way through. He had that kind of humor, wry, observant, a little sideways. It wasn't about winning a room or landing a punchline. It was about noticing something true and let it sit there long enough for the other people to notice it as well. Being around Luke felt like motion. You'd find yourself halfway into a conversation before realizing there had never really been a formal start. You didn't need a map. You didn't need an outline. You just stayed with it, and he was always there. I think about how Luke taught me things because it was never instructional. He didn't correct you into submission. He just stayed long enough for you, with you, for something to shift, and he laughed with you while you did. In fact, he taught me how to ollie on a skateboard. I was a tall, awkward, all elbows and knees, a sack of antlers, convinced that my body simply just didn't move that way. Luke laughed, but never at me. It was the kind of laughter that acknowledged the absurdity of trying, and at the same time, he made it feel shared. Like this wasn't about success or failure, we were just in it together. I tried again and again and again and again, and eventually, through patient trial and error, I got maybe 3 inches off the ground. Nothing impressive, nothing clean, but it felt enormous, like gravity had briefly agreed to listen, thanks to Luke. That was Luke. He wasn't interested in perfection. He cared about momentum, about staying loose enough to keep things going when they didn't immediately resolve. That instinct showed up everywhere in his life, in music, in art, and how he understood identity. He loved being alternative, not because it was a pose, but as a way of paying attention, standing just far enough outside the center to see what was actually happening before it was safe or widely accepted. Years later, Luke came back from Europe with a bottle of absinthe, of course. Not as a novelty, not as a souvenir, but almost like he was continuing a conversation with me that we really never stopped having. We stayed up late drinking it slowly, talking about art and politics and capitalism, the strange machinery of the world, until the room started to feel detached from time. At some point, it felt less like a night and more like a posture, as if we were imagining ourselves briefly as Toulouse-Lautrec, convinced that conversation itself, when done honestly, could still be a kind of resistance. There was abandon in it, but it wasn't shallow. There was depth, meaning, poetry. We weren't trying to win arguments or arrive at conclusions. We were just trying to see clearly. And that's how Luke moved through the world, laughing, questioning, staying up too late, following ideas past the place where most people got uncomfortable and turned back. He loved completely, without judgment, without editing, and when somebody does that, when they really, really do that, you stop monitoring yourself so closely. You trust that you're in it all together. Luke was already moving when the rest of us were still thinking. And I think that's why all of us are here. There was a core group of us when we were really young, 13 years old, found each other and stepped without realizing it into the same chrysalis. We grew up inside of it, built ourselves around each other, learned who we are by watching who the others were becoming. It wasn't tidy. We changed shape in real time, pushed the edges, figured things out as we went. And then, almost without noticing, we all broke out and scattered into the world like some kind of bright Chinese firework. Imperfect, headed in different directions, but always marked by that original ignition he was a part of. Luke carried that forward. He became the actor that people knew, the friend that so many of you loved, the presence that showed up fully wherever he landed. And I'm grateful, deeply grateful to have been part of that process. He's carried himself into the world, the rest of you come and know, and we're all in it. We're all in it together. Thanks, Luke.
Oh, okay. I think I'm one of those people that Shelley was referring to when she said some of us felt really old. That's why I'm going to put on my glasses. I met Luke when he was auditioning for that role in Hamlet of Rosenstern or Guildenkrantz, one of those. And he, in the audition, believe it or not, he was really nervous. He was really scared. And he was just kind of semi-showing up. He was a little nervous about it. So I said to him, just do something for me. Just tell me a story. Just tell me something that is incredible about you. And he went, well, it's really interesting that this play is set in Denmark because I'm actually the first person to have been deported from Denmark since World War II. Seriously? He's like, oh yeah. And then he does the whole story, jumping up on chairs to describe what, and putting himself in handcuffs and getting taken onto the plane in handcuffs and dumped in New York, not knowing anybody in New York, by police. Like, it was a crazy, crazy moment, and got him cast. And then in rehearsals, he was still so reverent about being a member of the Rev Company and being in Hamlet, and he was nervous about like just sharing his ideas, and you guys know his ideas were brilliant. And so I would always say to him, just show me, whatever your idea is, just show me. And then he wound up generously crediting me for many years for making him a braver actor. And I know, and you all know, I didn't do that. I just gave him a safe space to show his brilliance, the amazing, stunningly brilliant human that he was. I got the honor of directing him in, I think, 11 different stage productions, Hamlet being one, The Crucible, A Christmas Carol, and boy, did he get over being shy. Being a resident member of New Heritage Repertory Company, he was amazing, and he was always so much fun to cast and so much fun to work with, and he was so over his shyness. By the time he played Edmund in King Lear, he was the most seductive Edmund you ever want to see. We did it in the round, and he literally did the Edmund speech climbing into women's laps in the audience and kissing their hands and kissing their neck while he's doing the monologue. I told him he could, and so it's live theater in the round. There's no way for me to be off stage going, ah! He did, and he got brilliantly away with it. He also lost all his shyness when we did a production called Fair Use. And those of you here from the New Heritage Theater Company see all the noises that's happening out there already? Luke was part of the ensemble, and one of the roles he was cast in is a Victorian Scottish lady. And he put on the dress, and he created the best line reading for a single line of a character ever to immortalize a character. We all ended up saying this line over and over again in his dialect, because he would say, "Where are you headed?" And so it became a thing in New Heritage. We'd all go, "And where are you headed?" And everybody was doing his line reading. Still to this day, one of my kids, the blonde that you met a little while ago, she would go, "And where are you headed?" So just remember, you can ask. I directed him in Fault Line with Olympia Dukakis, and I actually owe him the character of Ricky in Fault Line, because I, crazily, as I did with many things, some of you who know me know that I tend to bite off big things and just go for it. And I told Olympia Dukakis I was writing her play. And so she called me at one point, and she was like, "Where's my play?" And I had the task within that play of writing essentially a serial killer who was so charming that nobody could believe that that was who he was. And I needed them to be in love with this character. And I watched Luke from the side stage in School for Scandal, and I went, "Oh, if I can capture that, I can do it." And I asked him if he would workshop it with me so that I could write it, and he was like, "Sure, and if I get to play it with Olympia Dukakis, that would be cool, let's do that." And he did, and she was in love with him, and Fault Line wouldn't have happened without him. I also got to direct him in Avatara, and both the play, where he played Josh, and then the film, where he played the lead, Michael. And again, that film wouldn't have happened without him, because I was watching he and Shelley in a play reading, and I said, "Hey, you know what we could do? We could just take these cameras and film Avatara." And Luke's like, "Okay." And so many things in my life, he was either the inspiration or he was the rock, or both. He was a great actor, but he was a great stage manager. I created this production for the World Winter Games of the Special Olympics where I had 4 stages, and Henry Winkler with our sound in his ear, and Henry didn't know what was happening from one moment to the next unless one of the two of us told him. And Luke was my stage manager, and it was incredible. 4 stages surrounding the audience, and he was always ahead of me. He was always there. He always had the problem fixed before it happened. It was astounding. And when Amy and I created Silver Draft, who did we immediately hire? Luke ran the office, and he was a great friend. He was a great extended family member. He called me Mama. He started calling me Mama many years ago. And I always considered that a badge of honor. It's hard to even think about. He was a big brother to Shelley. And when I adopted my other girls, he instantly made them feel so seen and so valued and so much a part of the family. He would play with Brittany, my littlest, under my desk. And she came home from school one day and she said, "Mom, Luke was in a play at school and he ran into the audience and hugged me in front of everybody." And as a special needs kid, that was like a brilliant experience for her. And as Mama, nearly a decade ago, he called me because he had a lump on his back and he didn't have any insurance. And so as Mama, I took him to our family doctor, and I sat with him through his appointments and his diagnosis and his treatments and the infamous surgery debacle that if you don't know about it, it's really disgusting. And so I'll tell you about it later, after you've eaten maybe. But it was a very, very difficult, trying time for him. And through all those things, all the crazy productions, all the work, all the stuff I drug him to and through, all the illnesses, all the treatments, all the putting up with me, I never once heard him complain. Never heard him complain. He just kept taking the next step and learning the next line and doing the next job and playing the next role. And I know that he was that for all of you. And so I just want to say thank you, all of you, for being his fellow players on the great stage of life. And cheers, Luke, for everything you've given all of us.
Wow. Wow. The incredible stories of the incredible man. My name is Patty O'Hara. I'm old. Luke knew old people, and he could be very close to them. And Luke was an old soul. Yeah. Yeah, I got to go to a script because, yeah, my head too. He was wise beyond his years, and it was as if he was carrying the cumulative wisdom of all those roles and characters he played throughout his life. And I'll tell you one story. I remember when I first met Luke. It was about 20 years ago at a potluck that I was invited and delighted to host for Olympia Dukakis. I love dropping that name, the late, great. And the guests, most of the guests who are here today, had left, except for one young man in my backyard and a glowing something. And I thought, well, I probably shouldn't go to bed yet. I should probably... So I went out back, stars are shining, and he's kicking back. And, hey, you're Luke, aren't you? Yeah. We're gonna probably do some stuff together. We're in the company. Yeah, I know you. Let's talk. And we talked and talked and talked. We were both in a slightly altered state. I don't remember everything we said or shared. I do remember talking about family, that he had this incredible family. He made a reference to Norway. I mentioned I'm severely Norwegian, but we still are friends. So I know he was deported from there, but he mentioned that too. But it was, again, I don't remember all the things we talked about it, but it was one of those rare, magical moments, the first of many, where age and prior experience was inconsequential. And it's when I got to call him friend. By the end of that evening, it was dawn, actually, by the time I wanted to wait till we were both sober. But by the end of the evening, I felt like he was a very dear friend, a surrogate son, a baby brother. I felt like he was a confidant, and that was the first of many. And I heard your stories already about those first meetings and how he could meet people, and I agree, that's my story too, and I'm sure it's many of yours. I'm going to skip those other stories because this is kind of a church, I think, anyway, so okay. So, leaving with this note. Thank you, Luke, for the light you gave, the generous hugs and the stories you helped us tell. And today we tell your story. The sequel is in the many hearts and memories of all of us who you left behind. We'll always remember you in the silent pauses, Luke, with deep gratitude and love. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm the guy that is responsible for Luke Quinn Massengill getting deported from Norway. I didn't realize that was that story had become such a big theme in his life, and of course, so I won't retell that story. It's been told a few times, but I know Luke as Quinn also. I met him in 1991 when he moved from Boise to Vista, California. There's a couple other Vistans here that made the trip because of how impactful he was to our life and our crew down there. I met him because I played football, and it was the beginning of the junior varsity season, and I just remember seeing this new guy. Like, he looked kind of funny. He was wearing, he had kind of long skater hair, and I mean, I was a skateboarder too, and it turns out he was a skateboarder, and so we were the only skateboard jocks kind of at the high school, or the only people having an identity crisis in the same way. And I remember he was wearing this oversized Cure t-shirts at football practice all the time, which is pretty, Robert Smith's lipstick face and a football helmet on doing football drills. It's pretty, I think that's one of the things about Quinn that was so amazing. He could cross over into different worlds. He could get along. He could adapt to any situation. We would roll into small towns, and he could go to some little podunk cowboy bar, and he could hang with them, and get the folks laughing, and then he could also, he slicked up real nice and worked it in Rome as well. So. So let's see. I just made this just insane list of stories that I can't figure out how to whittle down, and now I've got to whittle this down a lot, so I'm trying to figure out where to go with this. But really, I mean, I had a hard time my freshman year. I had a lot of social anxiety, and when Quinn was new and he showed up, and he was kind of goofy looking to our Southern California, everyone's wearing like Quicksilver shorts and looking all cool, and Quinn had some kind of weird style with these jorts, as John Panay mentioned. There's like kind of tight jeans that were flipped over and re-sewn and were fraying out the top. And he told us, is this a Boise thing? Was that a style here? Okay, that was just him. No one knew where Boise was, we're like, we just thought that was how people dressed in Boise, and we're like, oh, poor guy, he's gonna have a hard time here, But it turns out he was so confident. Me and him latched onto each other because of that connection with skateboarding. And he wasn't like going out of his way to be the coolest guy around and make a ton of friends. I mean, for a period there when we first met, we were best friends, and I felt like he was introducing me to I came from a more conservative kind of background, and he had this tight family and living in a trailer in the back and smoking cigarettes at home, and it kind of opened me up into a whole another world of adventure and creativity that I hadn't been as exposed to. And so while he was this very charismatic person that slowly started, capturing the hearts and minds of the entire school, slowly, he didn't treat me because I wasn't as charismatic or whatever. He didn't treat me like I was any lesser person. He didn't get too cool and popular and like disappear off with the cool crowd. He just wasn't that person. And throughout his life, that's a theme, I think, where he's kind of latched on to people that, really, it empowered them. And it didn't, he brought everyone up with him. So we had this club, and I don't know how we came up with this idea. It was called the Screw You Club in high school. And it was like a secret society. It was like a secret underground club but we had these leather necklaces with screws attached to them. And it was definitely Quinn's idea, but I think we all hatched it in one night. And he had the biggest screw because he was the president of the Screw You Club. And I had the second biggest screw. I was like the vice president, I think. And I think there was maybe only 2 or 3 other Screw You Club members, but we were like early taggers, you know. We would like, but we would use pieces of paper because we didn't want to damage the school. You know, we would like draw SYC Screw You Club, and the Y was like a screw, and we would put it on flyers around and make these little cryptic messages, and I don't know what the point was at all. It's like, it was just to be irreverent and make people curious, and it was hilarious. And you've all heard about the Massengill douche campaign where he ran for social chair one year, and it turns out he's part of Massengill douche, like he's distantly related to the great uncle, yeah, but it didn't get any of the inheritance or something. Yeah, so I didn't know Massengill douche was the #1 douche brand in the U.S. And so everyone knows what it was, and so he Xeroxed and blew it up into these huge posters that said, "Vote Massengill, the name you can trust." And he won. He won. It was awesome. And someone else mentioned how their mom really liked Quinn. And my mom loved Quinn. Everyone's parents loved Quinn. And he would come over and pick me up or something and be like, "Oh, Martha," give her a hug and a kiss and everything. Okay, going to spend the night at Quinn's house. And we'd walk out the door and drive straight to Mexico when I was 16 years old. And so hours later, we're Dos Equis in each hand, dancing with San Diego or UCS or anyway, college girls that were down there partying in Tijuana. And so he had a lot of balls, and I have to say, I mean, I was a little nervous with ladies when I first met him. I was having a hard time. I would get super nervous talking to girls, but he would always end up with a couple girls at a party or whatever that he was charming, and then he'd be like, "Come on over here," And I'd kind of join in. Next thing I know, the girl that's totally enamored with him always has a friend next to her, and so I was that guy, kind of. I'm pretty sure Carissa is Carissa. Where's Chris at? Yeah. Anyway, I came back. This is going to get super long, so I'm just going to go straight to Alaska now because that was sort of a pivotal, the journey of my life, and it was great to hear that Quinn continues to talk about Alaska. When I was 19, we decided to jump in my truck and go up and look for commercial fishing jobs. And 10 days later, we arrived in Homer, Alaska, and started grinding. We couldn't find jobs. There was just all these Russian fishermen. Like, what do you, we don't hire non-Russians. And we got odd jobs like pitching fish into totes and grinding the tanks of Bering Sea crab boats and getting super high. I remember one time we just didn't have proper respirators and stuff, and we were chatting and singing songs together and stuff, and suddenly we were on the ground laughing hysterically and realized we got to get out of this fish hole right now. We're not going to make it out if we don't climb out right now. And Quinn got a job. he thought he had a job with a seiner that, and the guy, to test him out, he had him come over and mend nets in his yard for like a week. And basically just gave the guy a week of free labor, and Quinn had over 200 mosquito bites on his arms. And then the guy just never went fishing. So I got a job and disappeared, and when I came back, Quinn had a girlfriend. It was Carissa, had been there, and he'd been a spit rat living on the beach all summer. And anyway, amazing trip. I got to wrap this up. Let me just see what I got here. I mean, I think in closing, I mean, he's one of those rare people that lived without apology. He was fearless. He was magnetic. I mean, it's amazing to hear what everyone else has been saying about him, and that he touched so many people. I'm so sad that I sort of lost contact with him. I saw him 4.5 years ago, but we'd barely talked in 10 years. And but what he gave me, and the stories I tell of him have just changed my life, made me a better person, made me a far more creative person. And I love him so much for that. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, people. Oh, God. Now I can see you. I have nothing prepared because we've been preparing life and these things, and it's amazing hearing, sorry. It's amazing hearing all of you wonderful humans talk about this wonderful human. I'll put on a theater voice for you, and I might be able to keep clear. I'll pretend like I'm something. I don't know, what am I? A guy with a hat. The craziest shit, excuse my language, no, not excuse my language, reality, authenticity, and honesty. The craziest shit about all of this is how every one of you is just like him in some form. Every connection he made was his own. We're not any separate. We're not separate at all. I don't know what you believe or what you feel, but every moment for the last 2 weeks, I'm like, shit, I got to call Luke because we're doing this thing and he's got to be there. Right? Nicole, too, my partner, same thing yesterday. God, we got to call Luke. Oh, yeah. Okay, call in Luke. Because he's been making weird shit happen for the last 2 weeks. I got to walk around. This is weird. I'm a dancer, and I'm sitting down. Hello. To me, after the last, gosh, when I didn't meet him, 5th grade, and then reconnected at 16, so however many, you do the math, I can't think. This time frame in the world that we're all living right now, on the edge of everything that has been on the edge for a lot longer than anybody might want to realize, this gentleman, who, as I learned the other day, I'm the son of Kirk and Luke. I gotta say it. Yeah, I guess. Hey, Kirk, you know, if you and I had a kid, it'd totally be Uric. And Kirk's like, we're boys, and you're my brother. Soul family, soul connections, deep, 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 beyond form, beyond time, beyond reality, beyond things that you could touch or smell or hear or taste. It's always sitting there, and that's what our first moment seeing each other eye to eye was. That's what I feel like, how and why every single person that came across him, it's like, this is a mirror, clear, bare, nothing, no filter. The filter is you are you, and he was he, and then we are all right here in this, you know, together. So this power play of his extremely willful and intentful being who blew his knee out winning all of his track meets to then go into swimming and win all of his swim meets, then choose to go to Alaska and then have it a crazy time and then the crazy journey. There's some other things if you want to hear things off stage. The journey from Alaska, the stories, the play that will happen someday. But he did this. He brought this together and all the other people out there who didn't get to be here in a time frame that this needs to happen in the world. He did that. Just like, you know what? I'm going to spend the last little time with one of my closest friends, Adam, in Portland, being there for him. And then I'm going to come to Boise and teach Pirates of Grammar Island. And then I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go through boxes in my storage unit and actually organize shit for the last 35 years that's been there. You know, all these things. And they were organized when we got there. Going through boxes to bring things to Carissa, to bring things to me, to bring things to people before he left Boise. My dog Shen jumped up and howled at him. My dog Shen's not a talkative dog. He's a giant German Shepherd Husky. Jumped up and howled at him and gave him a hug when he showed up at my house last summer. There was something moving, and Luke intuited it the whole time. And this is the response. This is where we are. People that might not have never known each other, that I've heard your names since I was 16 years old. And then, of course, he disappeared for 5 years in Europe and came back to the same little town, and after a little bit, and it was like, more names. And now you're all here. So I don't know, the vibe, this frequency, this intent, the thing we were reading on the way over us, you know, it's like, this is a power play on the deepest soul level and vibrational frequency level to take this kind of group of humans that are all over the world and make us take a moment. You know? Not even make us, just like, oh, by the way, peace, y'all got to deal with it. But just remember, you keep it inside. Oh, hey, man. I'm saying peace out. Thank you. There's one more person that's going to talk right now. There's one more person that needs to talk because he didn't get to and it didn't get labeled, and it's Kirk.
All right. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was a great story when, I don't really need this thing loud. That was a really great story when I first got to Boise, showed up. Living all the way there, and this was your grand, you know, I had to start school on Monday, and it was Sunday, and that's when we went on already. And I show up, and I see very briefly the door that has some residue. And looking in, and I'm talking to my people board, I can't start taking it. Sitting down at the table by the window. You gotta miss the shot. He's great. Here's what you do. It's just like if you and I had a baby. Well, you're gonna come on. So, I want to see this again. And well, it's not mine. It was science. And it's And then, but he did. He answered. And we went into this long conversation about himself, family, people that walked with grandpa, the other mother, who was our father, to my son, and he late. And at that moment, I felt really compelled to tell him what he was. And I didn't know at the time that I was going to say something so deep. But I got this opportunity so many kids that I didn't always get with everybody. And I told the story of your kids, about how we just moved to California, and he was having a fantastic 90210 moment. Everybody loved him. I was a white, pasty kid with a species, had glasses, and a birthmark, instead of a quarter, dark brown birthmark on my white pasty skin right next to my forehead. I had a lot of trouble making friends. People thought I was weird. I replaced some kid in my 5th grade costume. Somehow it was my fault. And it made no sense because we changed schools every year. Otherwise, I replaced a lot of kids growing up. But they didn't understand that, so I was really, really struggling. And in order to deal with my struggles, I was big, and I became detail-oriented and fixated on time. I had a journal that I had to keep. And first, I blocked out time pieces. And those time pieces became micro-time pieces and micro-time pieces until I had every day, all my time lined out, hour by hour, sometimes by hour. And it was simple. It was do homework. For goodness sake, everyone's brains are placed on themselves. I did video games, I watched my Oneida, I watched my son's I watched my growing pains, I farmed it. And without this, I struggled on a daily basis because I can't really get out of my own cell in California spending this Wednesday. And then one night he comes in, and this is already irritating. He's knocking the door. This is not an arranged discourse. I'm trying to do my homework, and he comes in, and he makes cousins know, and he starts talking at me, and I'm getting irritated. And I know why he's here, because my mother had already expressed a concern to me. Something wasn't going my way, or my schedule was being messed with. And he sent him in to go figure out what was going on. And, he picks up my journal and he's looking at it, and he's into it, and he's like, oh. Yeah, it's good. All right, son, my son, and he goes, oh, what? Give me a minute, I'll be right back. I'm going to make a phone call. And he goes and he makes the phone call. I grab all my stuff and barricade my door. He knocks on the door. He knocks on the door some more, and I'm thinking about jumping out the window, but then that's going to mess up my schedule even more. And then he barges himself in. I become irrationally angry and start throwing fists immediately because he's shooting on a person, place, sanctuary, and he just puts it. And then throws me to the ground and waits for me to calm down and spits on me and says, son, yes, son, because he's not. And he brought me out with a bunch of friends, terrible, and made it showed on me and told me, you can't drink this, it's off the floor. I'm like a guy that can't say it's ours. You sound British. That's
Everyone, Kirk mentioned, don't you guys go anywhere. Kirk mentioned something that Anthony did, which was, don't go anywhere, Kirk, come back here. Don't go anywhere. Heather, come here. Carissa and Dakota, I don't know if I've asked everybody to come up here that should, but this is the last thing we want to tell you about before you get to go eat and drink, okay? And that is Anthony, in his great wisdom, when this first happened, he set up a GoFundMe to help. Who? Alice. Alice said to Anthony, I see we learn things every minute. Connection, right? So Alice asked Anthony to set up the GoFundMe, and he did. And it went way past the expectation to just help pay for things like this right away. And so Anthony then said on the phone to me, hey, could we set up a scholarship or something? And I was like, sure, I've done it before at Boise State, so we can get an endowment set up. And so I called them, and I have to say, again, Luke from on high moved mountains, because the Luke Massengill Memorial Endowed Scholarship is actually active already at Boise State. And I think Carol and Shelley are passing out to you these flyers. I just want to read to you what this flyer says. It says, celebrate the life and legacy of Luke Massengill by supporting a newly established endowment that will honor his love for theater for generations to come. This scholarship will provide financial support to students who share Luke's artistic passion. Together, we can ensure that his vision of using theater as a vehicle for global kindness, creativity, compassion, and beauty remains a permanent reality. And so we are not only going to move the GoFundMe over into the endowment, but we are already ready to accept your donations. That's what these flyers are. There's a QR code, there's a URL, and because we already have over $10,000 to put in there, we can actually start giving scholarships in the fall. So this coming fall, there will be a scholarship given to an incoming freshman and to a senior, because in the honor of Luke, you know, it's hardest to start and it's hardest to finish, right? And so that money, they can use it for whatever they choose, and it is a perpetual endowment. And the reason that I've asked all these people to come up to the stage is because these people are the people that are the committee that we will go over the essays that people will write about their commitment to compassion and love and kindness through theater. And then we will pass that on to the theater department, and they will select those acting and theater arts students that get Luke's scholarship.
And thank you, everybody, because this is unbelievable. Because as Yurik was saying, I was talking to Alice, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think? I'm going to set up this GoFundMe. What do you think? You know, I want to give some of it to Kirk. I want to help pay for the venue." And she's like, "You know, the best thing that we can do is to make sure that somebody else benefits from this because of Luke. We want to make sure that we can all take care of each other. Like somebody new who's coming into the acting world gets to experience it because of this man. I mean, what better gift?" And you guys were all a part of that, and we love you all so much for it. So thank you. Go eat food and drink wine.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got a box of rocks that Luke harvested over the last few years. Some of them was with me, some of them was with Dakota, some of them was with Veronica, and some other people. But there's a box of rocks full of bags. Please take a rock that his hand held and pulled off the soil and carried and washed and put in a bag. Yeah? I don't want to keep them at my house.
Everybody, just hold it for 1 second. There is a room full of food, and so you're going to go through this door that says exit right here, cross the hall, go through that room, pick up your food, come back around this way, and come in here and join us. And the wine is back there, the coffee and the other non-alcoholic beverages are over there. And we invite you to hug each other, and definitely use this QR code and pass it around to your friends.